Welcome back to Tea Time Disc Golf. This is Steve Bro, and I'm back here with Devin Frederick.
Hey, everybody.
We are at the beautiful Maple Hill Disc Golf Course with the 2018 MVP Open, and we are bringing you Round 1, Part 2 coverage of what's a fantastic card, some great players. In Cale, Leiviska, we have Justin, who's a dynamic player to watch. He's super cool.
Sponsored by MVP.
Sponsored by MVP, which this is the MVP Open. You see their stuff all over the place, and they've done a great job of sponsoring this event and keeping the integrity of this event going. So kudos to Steve and the guys at MVP.
And then we have Reid Frescura, the long-throwing lefty, and Simon Lizotte, who's also a bomber that we all know already.
Yeah, those two guys are so fun to watch throw. They just they throw a mile. So we're going to be starting, though, hole number 10. Hole number 10 has had some changes this year. We used to tee off up and to the right. They've messed around with some basket locations up and to the left. But what they've done this year is pretty special because they brought the hole back to its original state. And just extending that tee back a little bit. But this is a true golf shot. This is a really, really fun hole.
Yeah, this is another one of them kind of new age par threes. It's super far. There's a lot of us that aren't reaching it, but the top guys that are throwing far, the Eagles, the Simons, they can get up here and get there two relatively easy.
Anthony Barilla put this like 80 feet past the basket on his drive this weekend. I don't know if those are big fish stories or not, but that was the rumor. And let's see what Simon can do.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, he cranked that up that hill.
Yeah, straight highs are all the way up to the wall.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, this hole is 380 feet and it plays about 450, 475, I want to say.
Easy.
It has that much of a dramatic incline. And Reid definitely lost his footing there.
Yeah, he ended up sawing it off a little. He's going to be over in the pines. Tricky upshot from over there dealing with the Christmas trees.
Here's Cale ripping one up the hill. And he'll be happy. I mean, he's just outside of Circle 2, dead center in the middle. He's going to be, pitching up and probably taking his 3.
Yeah, that's probably where you're going to see a lot of the drives landing.
And Justin with a good-looking shot right up the gut. And well inside of Circle 2.
So here we got Reid from off on the left.
Which you can see how much of a difficult shot that is from where he was. It's so hard to get up on top of the castle, is what they call it. I think we need to petition Steve to put the flower boxes back up top, though.
Yeah, that gave it a nice look.
Yeah, they used to have flower boxes that lined the top of this, and it was certainly beautiful, but when you hit the flower boxes and didn't stay up, it wasn't so beautiful.
Well, yeah, Simon making easy work of that hole, getting his birdie.
Yeah, such a good 2. And Reid actually put himself in a really good spot from where he was. That was not an easy place to get your up and down.
And with this basket being up on that wall, that's slightly tricky. I mean, all the top guys are making easy work of it, but you definitely got to sit there and focus and make sure you're putting to the elevated basket.
Yeah, Justin and Cale with good pars, and Simon is going to take the lone birdie on that hole. But, I mean, what can you say? He absolutely pimped his drive all the way up to the to the wall, which is just crazy.
Yeah, not everybody's able to do that. Simon obviously has that special talent of being able to throw far, and makes that hole a little easier on him than us.
You go into this stretch of 3 holes where having that extra power plays a huge advantage into you getting your birdies. Because hole number 11, literally, you're skying something over these Christmas trees. If you have the power to throw 550, 600, it makes this approach shot go from a mid-range or a putter, where everybody else who is throwing that 400 to 450 range is now throwing a fairway driver into a really tight gap. So there is definitely scoring separation on these holes for the guys that can just absolutely bomb.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little easier on them. Most of us are just laying out to the big grassy green area in the middle of all the Christmas trees, and most likely throwing some kind of fairway driver up to the basket.
Yeah, let's see what Simon can do. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of wind today, so he should be able to really lay into something.
And yeah, that's a mash. Great flight out of that.
That's unbelievable. That was a really good shot.
Yeah, so he has 130 left to the pin, 150.
So out of control. And Reid with as much power, but boy, he did not get that to flip up. You got to watch that. A lot of the danger on this hole is to those right woods. If you get into those woods, you're pitching out. I mean, there is no way to save par, or to get your birdie. You can save par by pitching out.
And yeah, that was a great shot by Cale. He's just laying out into that middle grassy area.
Yeah, it was probably lower than what he wanted, but again, he's not going to be in a whole lot of danger from where he went.
Justin got that up nice and high. He's fading out to the left side, which is all right, but he'll have them Christmas trees to attend with over there.
Yeah, you watch his second shot and watch what he's dealing with those Christmas trees. And Cale just with a wonderful shot. It doesn't get much better than that.
That was textbook.
What an unbelievable shot by Cale. But yeah, you can see where Justin is now. So he's dealing with a lot. It is not, yeah.
And yeah, you could see his swing went into a Christmas tree. He ended up yanking it. He's over in the woods.
And look where Reid is. I mean, he's in jail, absolute jail, and he's having to try to pitch back out to the fairway.
And that one didn't get out. He hit the tree right in front of him. He's still in the woods trying to get out.
Wow, this hole's hard enough without being over there.
And you could see chopped it out there again. Just got out into the fairway where now hopefully you can get up and down.
Yeah, unreal. And with a really good shot into the gap, but it's still going to leave him a outside the circle putt.
And now we're finally getting to Simon. You can see how close he is to the gap and how much easier it is when you can throw it 600.
It's literally a putter shot. He's throwing right up to the basket.
Yeah, he catches a rock, keeps him from sliding to the basket, but that's still well in his range.
Yeah, such an advantage. I mean,
and
I want to say
Justin catching a little more trees.
Yeah, he's got to do some work here to get this in.
And he's giving it a bid, a little wide, but
he's right
easy
there.
cleanup.
Yeah, he's right there. And Reid, really, really good 5. I mean, he needed that in a bad way. So,
and
well
the rest
done.
of them should just be routinely cleaning up.
Yeah, Simon with a great birdie.
Yeah, that approach was kind of sad.
Yeah, these guys have fun playing golf together, and certainly at the highest level. They drive each other. Believe me, Cale sees Simon drive that all the way down there, and he wants to get a little bit more on his drive. So they're definitely driving each other to play well, and Justin just slamming it in there. I love his aggressive putt. I'm going to start putting like that. So what we're going to do now is move on to a hole that, boy, is this one has a lot of teeth. You've got to throw a really, really strong drive out into this gap. And then this hole takes an extreme downhill slope. And there's a few very tight lanes that you have to work with. A very difficult par 4. I'm not sure how this one scored, but I'd say that this is probably one of the most difficult scoring holes on the course.
For sure. I mean, to land your drive in a spot where you have a clean look to drop down the elevation here is tough.
Yeah. If you're right or left off the tee here, it's very hard to get down to the basket to have a putt for birdie.
But Simon's one of those that can get all the way down to the gap where he can see the basket.
Most people do not crest this hill. They end up early on the top of that hillside, and then they're throwing a putter or mid-range down to the basket. The guys that are throwing 500 plus are definitely reaching that crest. Cale not in a bad spot up there to the right.
Yeah, that's one of your more typical landing spots up on the hill there.
Oh, boy, and we just turned that over way too much. There is a little access road over there that you can throw down to get down to the basket, but
You definitely pinch yourself up on the corner.
yeah, not an ideal place to be. This is coming out a little bit too early for Justin as well, so he's going to be dealing with some trees.
Cale just going with a putter, just
That's
trying to
such a good
float it
shot.
down there.
So he'll have a long look. I mean, that's not by any means is that, he'll probably be at circle 2. And this green is not very forgiving either. You've got a good drop off right behind the basket, and it goes into this bowl. And putting from down there is not easy.
Justin just trying to get out and roll down the hill as close to the basket as he can hope for.
Again, he'll have a long downhill look from there, and that came out all wrong for Simon.
Simon giving that a thumbs up. He knows that one was great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And
There's
Reid
Reid.
trying to give it a long bid.
Played it safe enough though, where he's right there for his putt. No, Simon just left that
Right on line, just low.
a little short. Justin wanted that one, but I'm afraid that he rolled down into that little pit that I was talking about. Cale definitely
coming
gave
up
that
a
a
little
run. That
short.
was awesome.
Justin from in the ditch.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Your footing is not always right from down there, but what a great putt by Justin to clean that up. Hole 12 is tough. I can't say it enough. It's an extremely difficult hole, and these guys are going to walk away. All of them are going to par this hole, which you can't feel too bad walking away with a par. I mean, you want the birdie, but it's not that bad.
The second shot on that hole's tough because
Yeah.
it drops off so much, and there's so many trees. So to get your second shot in the circle there is great.
Yeah, it really is. And now we go back up the hill, and we're going to be playing a short par 3 on hole 13. It's 405 feet, so I can't say it's a short par 3, but it certainly feels that way because it has such elevation drop that most people are playing either a putter or mid-range down that gap and just trying to get something to slide up next to the basket. But again, another treacherous green. It's not an easy green to hit.
Yeah, just trying to get your drives to slide down maybe into that ditch. If you can get over that ditch, it's great. But yeah, you can find yourself in that ditch behind some trees. Definitely got to finagle some putts on this. If you go long of the basket, it drops off again with more trees. So the
It's
putting
very
green's
tough. If you don't hit something as you're coming in towards that basket and your disc is still flying in the air, you're going to be a long way away if you go long.
And you'll see how Simon takes this over the top.
Yeah, not surprising by any means. You can get it to crash right into those trees near the basket, and hopefully it just drops right down. And still watching.
He ended up a little long. He's about 60 feet deep of the pin.
Okay, which is not good because that's a severe uphill putt coming back up to the basket. And Cale just leaking that right, and that's a common mistake on this hole is to be in those trees, and it is not easy in there. You've got to really you got to throw a great shot to get up and down from there.
Yeah, they actually cut down some cedars that were growing up there, a whole row. So it kind of cut some of the teeth out of this one. You can penetrate through them trees a little better this year than you have been able to in years past.
You
But
saw
that was
Reid.
A great shot by
Yeah,
Reid.
Reid just threw one down there the way that you're supposed to.
That needs to flip up.
Yeah, he's going to be right on that tree. Get by it.
Just sneaking
Oh,
by.
wow.
And he's down
What
in
a
that ditch.
fantastic shot by Justin. Being in that ditch is not bad at all. You have a decent look at it. I want to say that the one problem is going long.
And Cale with a roller, just trying to get out, get himself into a putting lane.
So here's, it looks like Simon coming back up from behind the basket where he ended up. All right.
Great little bid from where
Yeah.
he was. Kept it close, gave it a
And
chance.
just pancake right next to the basket.
Here's Cale for his par.
Oh, almost.
And yeah, this one's one that you don't want to four.
No, but I mean, look, there's a couple places that you can end up that it is really, really hard to get your par. And Reid can't be happy with that. Kept him close enough, though.
Yeah, and that's, the difficulty of this green. There are a lot of trees inside the circle.
Yeah,
So.
Justin's showing you how some of these holes need to be played, though. He's definitely a great player to watch. Reid with a par, and Cale's going to tap in for his bogey, and Simon's going to tap in his par. So, you see the gamut of scores on a lot of these holes. You see bogeys, you see pars, you see birdies.
The season is over, and it is time to order your 2019 Pro Tour trading cards. Top 50 MPO, top 15 FPO, plus our limited release specialty cards. Pre-orders are guaranteed at least one limited release specialty card in each pack or deck.
It's not just a birdie fest at Maple Hill ever.
No, it's never a birdie fest out here. You got to grind it out the whole way. You never know when you're going to get a bogey and if you're going to get a birdie.
Yeah, and then you have to walk up and step up to this tee box and watch a shot go over the water for 98% of the shot.
If you walked up to hole 8 and thought that was intimidating, wait till you get to hole 14 and you walk up to this one.
Yeah, 420 feet. You always have some kind of wind that is going to mess with your disc. The best thing you can do is just throw a really aggressive shot. If you are timid, you can crash it into the left, but on the left-hand side there is a pond down below that plays OB too. So it's not an easy hole by any means. I don't know why you're seeing all those discs right there next to the basket, but
fished them out of the water.
Yeah, probably. But let's see what Justin can do here.
As you can see, you kind of have to flip it up out over that water and hang it out there. And
yeah, and a great shot. Yeah, he's going to be inside the circle putting, which is all he can ask for. The weather right now is fantastic for this hole because you don't have a lot of wind messing with anything. In years past, we've had bad weather that you're playing in, and stepping up to this hole in the rain or the wind, you just pray for the 3.
Yeah, and the wind's always swirly when it's windy on this hole, being over this pond, and the pond for hole 8 is across the way, and you get some weird winds, and I do not envy Reid being a lefty on this hole at all.
No, but that was so textbook as far as just playing a safe shot. He's outside the circle. We'll see whether or not he's going to lay that up and take the easy 3, or if he's going to give that a run. Cale putting something outside there. One of his P1s coming back hard. And spikes it right there.
That was a great shot by Cale.
Yeah, very good shot.
Simon not in a great spot. You can see if you fade off to the left, you have the pond behind this, and you got trees. So.
Yeah, it's a layup. I mean, you got to take your medicine. Know that it's going to be a very, very difficult shot.
Yeah, I think when most people are outside the circle on this to the left, they're laying up, but Reid was not laying up from outside the circle.
No. Reid actually had the benefit of being a lefty putting there. He's putting, his natural putt is going away from the water. So, yeah, he gave that a good run. Cale with a really good putt and a nice birdie.
And see if Justin can capitalize on his birdie.
Oh, no.
A little high.
Yeah, there we go.
But he did stay safe there and got his 3. It definitely could have been a lot worse. I'm sure more than half the people that have hit the basket like that have ended up in the water.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. It is a very fast green on that side of the basket. You don't even want to tempt fate on that side of the basket. Keep everything left. Yeah, so Reid with a really, really good putt there, though. That was extremely impressive.
Yeah,
for
especially
him to get
for a
birdie.
lefty on that hole. That's amazing.
It's a huge 2. It has to be a bonus for him. If he's getting the 2 here, he's got to look at that and say, wow, you have to really put a controlled shot out there. So we're going to move on. Hole number 15. This is one that you walk up to and you say, I need to get the deuce here. Certainly part of your round going down the stretch. You make a good run at it right up the gut. There is a line to the right-hand side that you can take and flex something back at the end.
Yeah, you turn it over a little before or after that tree we just passed, flex it out, or just go straight up the gut. But this is a tight hole in the woods. Any tree early, and you're looking at a rough trying to save car.
Yeah, you're going to be down in that pit, and there's like this. You go down the path and then up the path again, and there's quite a bit of elevation on this hole.
Yeah,
so
and
if you hit early, you're going to be down that hill with a tricky upshot.
And it's blind from down there. You can't even see where the basket is.
And Reid took the alternate route up high and ended up near that other tee box to hole 16.
So yeah, he'll be able to give that a little bit of a run. And you can see Cale flipping it over down the outside route, trying to get it to flex back.
Yeah, that's a really good play. I've seen a lot of people do that. If you do go straight at it, the tendency is that your disc is going to finish left, and you do kind of you tend to skip outside of the circle. Justin just with a great shot right up the gut. I think that ended up pretty good.
Yeah, inside the circle.
And Simon didn't flip that up quite enough. His is going to continue to go left, and he doesn't like that.
Reid for his birdie.
Oh.
Got
Wow,
the tree, stayed right there.
Yeah. Oh, good putt out of Cale. It did not stay. Right,
Simon cleaning up.
Yeah, the rest of these guys are going to clean up.
And yeah, that was an easy 2 out of Justin. That's how you want him.
Yeah, he put that right where he needed to. And again, now, it's time to score at this point going down the stretch. Hole 16 is a very tough par 3. Hole 17 is no gimme. Hole 18 they stretch. So going down the stretch right now, hole number 15 is one of those that you want to walk away and you want to get one back on this course. So
yeah, I mean, that's one, like you said, coming down the stretch. If you're falling behind, you say, I can get 15, but it's no gimme.
No, you can definitely. It has its teeth, and then you step up to hole 16, and you've got to go big elevation downhill, 530 feet. You've got to flip something up and let it just cook right down the middle. There is the line over to the right that you can get, but it is a tight gap. If you hit something early here, it's tough to get up and down. You tend to see a couple of 2s on this hole, though. I mean, there's not that many people are running it and acing it like Henry almost did a couple of years ago. But you are seeing quite a few 2s. People do get out there inside the circle.
Yeah, it's a reachable hole, but if you hit anything and don't get to the top of that hill in the middle of the fairway, you can't see the basket, and it is an extremely hard up and down.
Justin left that just a bit to the right.
Good pull by Reid.
Yeah, just a little bit too far, too much flip on him, and he did clip that tree, and that's going to keep him on top of the hill, though. And Cale has taken that right-hand lane.
And yeah, he just needed that to come out a little sooner and tuck in before that tree.
And Simon flipping it up down that right-hand side. That looks like it's going to work out. He did hit late.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trees on this hole.
And you see Reid just at the top of that hill, so he did have a look at getting down there, and he'll put it out in the grass. It's going to be outside the circle, but a good shot.
Justin was able to fight most of the way down the fairway on his drive. Good out.
Yeah, he's inside the circle, just right near that tree. Cale unable to connect there, but with a good upshot. And Simon for his birdie.
It's real muddy in there where Simon is, so I'm sure he wasn't 100% comfortable in his footing.
Yeah, Reid would like for this to go in. Oh, what a great putt. Great par save by Reid.
Yeah, anytime you hit early, first half of this fairway to save par, you feel good about that.
Yeah, you did what you needed to. And there's Justin from a knee with a great putt. Well done. Simon's going to walk away with his par. So we didn't see any birdies, but the card is going to walk away parring this in pretty easy fashion. And then they have to step up and go to hole number 17, which get ready to throw another big drive. Simon may be able to get into the gap here on hole number 17, so we'll see what happens. But again, a show of Reid's really good putt there for the par save.
So we're coming down the home stretch. We got Cale and Simon at 1 down, Justin at 3, Reid at 4.
I would say the leaders are going to come in somewhere between 7 and 8. So, Simon can't be happy with his round. The guys certainly want to be well under par going into hole number 17, knowing that hole number 18 has changed and is now harder. This is one of your last opportunities to actually score on the course before you hit hole 18.
Yeah, you just want to get it over all those Christmas trees we just flew over and set yourself up so you can look down this gap with a putter shot, maybe a mid-range. And once again, we got an elevated basket on a little bit of a cliffside and makes the green tough.
Yeah, for years now, you do hear of players coming in and just absolutely ripping one from that tee box, and people have tooted. They've gotten all the way down to the basket, but boy, is that an amazing feat. Here's Justin getting up on it, and that's turning right enough, but it looks like it's going to fade out, and hopefully he's past those Christmas trees where he has a nice little hyzer shot into where the basket location is.
Yeah, just slide something through the gap and up to the basket.
Reid putting a good move on that disc. That should be in a pretty good in a good spot for him to get up and down.
Yeah, and as a lefty, he'll give him a hyzer angle from down at that end. Cale flipping it over, hoping it flexes out for him.
And he clipped one of the Christmas trees. Those Christmas trees are tough in there. If you get on the wrong side of one, getting to the basket and hitting that tight gap to get down to the basket makes it extremely difficult. And Simon turned that over just unbelievably.
I think he's glad to hit that tree.
Yeah, he had to be.
Pinched up too much of that corner. In them woods, you have nothing other than to pitch up to the gap and then down to the basket.
Yeah, he just turned that way too far over. And Cale working on that really good ante shot down. He's going to be inside the circle putting for his birdie. Really good shot there by Cale.
And yeah, you can see where Simon is at now. He has a tight turnover that he needs to flex out to slide up to the basket.
So fortunate he didn't go into those woods, though. As you go into those woods, and it's extremely tough to get up and down. So he actually gave himself a decent look at the basket.
Reid just going to lay it up.
Yeah, good shot by Reid. And Justin going to lay it up there. That was a really good drive by Justin to get to where he got. It seemed like a very easy pitch up from where he was.
There's Cale knocking in his birdie.
Great putt by Cale. So Cale and Simon will move to 2 down, which is good. That was the hole that they needed to get going down the stretch, knowing that the round is about to wrap up.
Yeah, this could be one of the softer of the par 4s on the course, I'd say. But elevated basket. I'm not sure if this year is the first year for it or last year, but that added a little bit of teeth to it.
Yeah, definitely. If you end up, just inside the circle, just outside the circle, putting downhill at that basket, if you do miss, you can get yourself into some trouble. But these guys, not too much trouble there. We had 3 birdies and a par out of Justin, and we'll move on to hole number 18. Hole 18 they did change this year. One of the other changes to the course, you can see the new tee box is lower and on a very nice little plateau. You have a wall here with some trees that you're dealing with, and that was the original tee that we just flew over. So really most of the pros are trying to get between these two willow trees, just past this second one, and it kind of takes the thinking out of things for your average pro, because you're going to be pitching up and then you're going to be happy with getting your 4. There's going to be very few times that you're going to see people running at this green unless you're throwing it way up that hill. So
yeah, I think this was designed to challenge more of the upper echelon of pros, to make it that shot where they have to decide whether to go for it or not.
Sure. Yeah, I can guarantee, though, at the end of this thing, you're going to see the scoring separation from last year's tournament, and this is going to be dramatically different just because most people are going to be playing it safe, whereas before they actually had that chance to run it and get that birdie going down the stretch, and now you're just trying to make sure that you get your par.
And that is not what Cale needed right now.
Yeah, Cale did not want to end up right there. Simon probably did not want to watch that happen right before he threw either.
I think Simon's been around long enough. What other people do are not affecting
matter.
what he's going to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you don't think about that wall when you step up to that tee shot, so... but really, really good shot out of Simon. Getting that far up, you may see him go for the green. We'll just have to see.
And that's turning a little too much for Justin. But he gets a good kick back out to the fairway. So he
really
should be able to get up to the corner, pitch up, get his 4.
Yeah, really good kick out of those trees. They do tend to snag your disc and keep them in there.
And
Cale
was
slipped
on that wall, bad footing, trying to get it up there far enough where he could probably get an attempt to go for it, and just threw it low.
Yeah, so now Cale's going to be lucky to save a bogey on this hole after doing that. So we'll see what Justin can do. He's throwing a flick up this hill. And just position golf. He's going to put himself up there with a really good putt. Look at it. Nothing too dangerous.
Yeah, he's probably 80, 90 feet out, so he'll be able to give it a little bid, and if it goes in, great. If not, easy par.
Now, Reid is going for this and does miss the green, so he is going to be out of bounds.
And, yeah, since he didn't cross the green, he will be going from where he went out of bounds.
Now, Simon is so confident in his long putt that he's going to lay this thing up, and he's going to try to make it from that other side. And there's Cale hitting the tree and going OB.
Justin wants it.
Yeah, good run. He'll be up there with an easy tap in.
See if Simon can get a highlight finish.
Simon with a good look at it, but
just a little wide.
Yeah. And we've got Reid going through the trees. Almost.
Now we got Cale to save us 6.
Yeah, this is the drop zone that puts you right between these trees. What a fantastic putt. He says, I'm done. I'm done with this round. Now, good finish, good putt, good way to salvage a little bit. He didn't want to take a 7 there.
Yeah.
Reid with a good putt.
Simon cleaning up.
Yeah. So, good round action out of these guys. It was fun to follow them. Again, we'd like to say thank you to everybody who has contributed in making this happen. MVP for being the title sponsor of the event. Maple Hill for putting on a wonderful show. Cale for making this putt because it's just awesome. And he saved his 6 there. But we got to give a big thanks to Steve Dodge, all the food vendors. This is when everyone's wrapping up this round of golf. This is where everyone gets some food and watches the action of the other cards coming in. And it's an absolutely magical place.
Hey guys, I'm Spencer with MVP, and I'm out at the course today to talk to you guys about the long-awaited Neutron Deflector. The Neutron Deflector is an extremely overstable mid-range, able to stand up to any headwind and any power. No matter the shot, count on the deflector's ability to fight out of a turn in order to flex and shape your line to get you to the basket.
So, again, thank you, Devin, for being out here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks to Tea Time. Lou, Christian, Austin killed it on the editing. This was my first go at running a camera. Thanks to those guys for letting me run a camera. So,
yeah, no, absolutely.
Sorry if the footage wasn't great, but my first time
fantastic.
ever holding a camera, and I've got a whole new respect for what Joe Mez and Central Coast do week in and week out.
Absolutely.
This is definitely daunting, doing the editing, the filming. It's almost more exhausting than playing.
Yeah, a lot of fun, though. We certainly had a blast. Thank you again to MVP and Steve Dodge for hosting a great tournament. Thank you to all the players that come out and give us a show and give us something to watch. We will see you guys for round 2 action.